Everyone sees the legend. Doubt challenged him, but every time he fell behind, he chose to rise.
Rejection didn't make him disappear, and doubt back gave him another reason to train. Because champions aren't created when life is easy, they're created when they choose to rise again.
We usually see Bruce Lee as the finished product, a pop culture icon who appears to have been destined for the screen. It's a narrative where his success was inevitable, almost a law of nature. But in the 1950s, he was just another young man navigating the dense, chaotic streets of Hong Kong. He had no fame, no institutional backing, and no map for where he was going. This raises a question about how someone in that position, with no inherited power, manages to force the world to stop and pay attention. To find that answer, we have to look past the movies and into the specific points where his life met the most resistance. His foundation was built in the Wing Chun school of Ip Man. He wasn't just a casual observer of the art, he was deeply embedded in the traditional mechanics of the style. This training dummy is a hallmark of that tradition, representing a system of fixed angles and specific, predetermined responses. But Lee began to look at these wooden arms as limitations, questioning why a fighter should be restricted. He wanted to find a way to move that was faster and more responsive than the tradition allowed. He brought this skeptical, analytical mind to America in the late 1950s. He arrived with a small suitcase and entered a world where he was a total stranger, with no professional leverage. His life became a cycle of heavy academic workloads and manual labor. The only time left for his relentless obsession with movement was late at night, training in total isolation. He used the physical exhaustion of his workday to test his own endurance. By training when his body was most tired, he was able to see exactly how much pressure his discipline could actually withstand. When he tried to bring that discipline to the American acting world, he ran directly into the institutional barriers of Hollywood. In the 1960s, the industry had very narrow, specific ideas about the roles Asian actors could play. These caricatures were the opposite of the skilled, philosophical individual he was becoming. He was repeatedly shut out. He saw firsthand that the established system had no intention of changing its mind to accommodate him. Instead of waiting for a call that wasn't coming, he redirected his energy. He took the frustration of being rejected by the industry and funneled it back into his own private research. He stopped trying to fit into the rigid structures of others. He began stripping away everything that wasn't useful, concentrating on a central philosophy of fluidity. He pulled in data from Western fencing, strength training, and running, building a new kind of athlete. The rejection he faced didn't end his career. It gave him the necessary isolation to create a version of himself that was completely unique. That uncompromising physical presence is what eventually forced the industry to open the door, leading to his first roles on American television. By this point, he was using these roles to demonstrate a physical capability and a philosophy that the public simply hadn't seen before. The confidence in his eyes was the result of years spent answering his own questions. The speed and the precision the world eventually admired were the direct results of how he chose to respond to every point of friction he encountered. The most difficult years of his life, spent in the dark and under pressure, were the essential scaffolding for the legacy he left behind. A legacy like that isn't granted by luck. It's built, one brick at a time, using struggle and rejection as the primary materials.
If you believe giving up is never an option, like, share, and subscribe for more legendary stories. One more time,